Hi, thank you so. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Again, I'm Carrie Able. Thank you so much for having me again here, NFT.NYC. My first talk was back in 2021, and I was speaking on. Oh, closer. Okay. I was speaking on the vision I had for inclusion and accessibility with the combination of Web3 and metaverse technologies. And I'm very excited to talk to you today about something that I have been working on the last 6 months that has really fulfilled that vision. So at the end of last December, I did a performance in Art Basel that was for Somnium Space, a virtual reality Web3 based platform that I got a creator grant for. And we did this immersive experience so people could view in VR at the same time as we were in the physical experience. This is actually a still from last weekend, a live performance that was at Loom Studios here in New York, and then an NFT gallery that was WebXR. So many different ways that we can combine these music experiences with NFTs. And one of the things I've been working on with Somnium Space more recently is building my own virtual world that's an art gallery and our art museum. And it was so incredible so actually at the beginning of this year I had pneumonia, and it was like the only thing I could do was focus on this building. And so it was so incredible to be able to build my own virtual space. It's Web3 platform based. And so then I got to do my single release for my song Shield inside of VR, and I'll be able to show you some more that's later on in the presentation. So I think, okay, let's see. I think the future of music will see a convergence of all of these technologies, including AI, Web3, and XR, and that will help power the open metaverse. And I think this is gonna transform the way we create and consume and increase inclusion and accessibility for both patrons and artists. So one thing that I wanna comment on is how we need to do more with Web 2 and Web 3 combinations. So I invite you to look back at the history of discoverability and patronage. And so I know a lot of Web 3 really hates Spotify. But what I've found is it's actually great. Like the song that I was just telling you about that I did a single release for has been my most viral success yet. And it's cool to be like, well, calculating like nearly 4 million streams, like that's a good chunk of change from Spotify. Whereas if it was just radio or Y2K like LimeWire, Napster, I wouldn't be making anything, right? So that's a lot of people that are discovering. So I think we have to think of it in terms of like they have to discover and then they become a patron. So I think that in the future we'll see more people getting discovered doing metaverse showcases, and then I think we'll see more patronage doing NFT holder access, particularly for, let's say, exclusive virtual concerts. And that technology, I think, is still probably, a couple of years away from being all-encompassing when we have more, hardware. But so anyways, my main point here is that we've got to see a combination of Web 2 and Web 3. So here is the Somnium Space that I was mentioning to you. It's a slide of what it looks like in real life on the right when I was doing the performance. And it is crazy to get into. You've got 2 sets of headphones, the guitar plugged into a typical mixer, and then a VR laptop, the physical guitar, you're wearing the headset. But once you get over the hurdle of getting into all of this apparatus, it is so real. It's the closest thing to Ready Player One that I've seen. So it's actually so real that while I was performing, I hit my cheek with the microphone, the real one, because I was paying attention to the virtual microphone. And I just totally forgot that there was even a real one, and it wasn't like totally synced up. And then there's people like all over the world, like physically in this space that I built. And it was just fascinating that, someone from, Prague is standing next to somebody from Chicago, and they're both enjoying this live. And I spent a long time with my friend Oli, who's in there as well and performed this night, figuring out how to do this sound as close to a live show as possible. So it's actually the same mixer that I use for my real live show. And yeah, so it's honestly, it's incredible. And I think that this is where it's headed. I think this is where it's all headed. And it's probably gonna be 2 years before we're really there because of the hardware but then I want to highlight, this is all Web3 based. So the guitar I'm playing on, you guys are going to love this, is an NFT that I own. And so when I'm playing my physical guitar, what the audience is seeing is my NFT guitar, which looks different. It's like animated and it's blue. And it's designed by my friend Oli, who's the only other person I know that is as big of a nerd and a musician as me. But so she's standing to the left of me there in that picture. And then we're in my art museum that I built, where there's sculptures flying around the air that I did in VR. As I'm performing, there's an orb that's a 360 painting that people can walk into, and it just becomes like their whole environment. So I think that this is where we're gonna see in the future. And again, like I think probably about 2 years away, but imagine that you're performing and you're a band and you can't travel because like one of your members has an illness or something and they have to stay. You'd be able to do this and only have maybe 500 fans, and you can have your digital merch that you collaborated with a visual artist or something like that. Okay, and I wanted to just give a couple of different ideas of integration. I think tokenizing an artist's Spotify royalties, tokenizing different musicians, like snippets of music, like bass lines, hooks, things like that. There's a lot. I have more ideas if people want them. I want to give a shout out to Lambda 1, who is working on a Web3 metaverse base layer right now, and it was started by Neil Stephenson, who wrote the book Snow Crash in the 90s and coined the term metaverse. So I was really stoked to be in the first 5 artists to have something minted on their platform. So I want to make sure people get this convergence, and all of these things are headed. We don't have to be worried about AI. Everyone's always going to want human-led creations. And with that, I'll leave you with, what is the future of music? I think we're going to see a giant shift in accessibility and a rise of more experimental and niche music artists. Mass adoption will see a combination of Web 2 and Web 3 technologies, and I'm so thrilled about our future. I had some more ideas that I wanted to share with you, but I think I'm out of time. This is an AR public filter. I have lots of ideas about how indie musicians can dive into extended reality and the metaverse. So as I'm out of time, feel free to talk to me afterwards. And in conclusion, if you guys are local, my next gig is May 11th at the Cutting Room. I'm headlining, very excited. So there's that, my website and Twitter. Feel free to connect with me on there. Again, I'm Carrie Able. Thank you so much for having me. Okay.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you.